Hello everyone, this is Charlotte, and this is a podcast called Chatting in Cars. It's where I discuss random topics on the way to work whilst trying not to hit people in my car, which I have possibly done before, I'm not going to admit to. Anyway, so there is a disclaimer at the start of this podcast because I do swear and I do talk about sensitive issues. If you don't want to hear it, absolutely, it's your choice to go and find something else to talk about or listen to. There are tons of podcasts out there. I've been looking for some myself. I'm interested if anyone's got any ideas. Anything to do with history is pretty cool, so I like that kind of shit. Right, I do talk about sensitive topics. I do go on tangents about sensitive topics, so it might start as talking about kittens, and then suddenly we're talking about some kind of dungeon threats, I don't know, where someone's been kidnapped and sent to do something else. Maybe I just need to watch that D&D new movie. Nerd. So, and I do swear, I'm not even worried about that. So, the topic for today is, what do we got? We got fame and anonymity. Fame and anonymity. Now, most of us are pretty anonymous. Some of us want to be famous, some of us happy just doing our own shit, right? There is, of course, dangers to anonymity. Oh, that's going to bug me all the time. Okay. As soon as you stick your head above the trenches, of course. Oh my god, that guy's an asshole. Sorry. Some bike, like push bike, just rode out. And then he got taken out by two cars. Oh my god, what are you doing? Sorry. It's a Friday. Everyone's being an asshole, apparently. Of course, there's dangerous anonymity. It's going to be a good one. This podcast's going to suck. Okay. I can't even say the words. Doesn't help with my selective mutism. Okay. Say it, woman, damn it. Being famous. I'm going to call it being famous. Fuck it. Yeah, I mean, as soon as you get famous, everybody's going to either be jealous. I mean, some might celebrate you, but they're going to get jealous because you got all the attention or you got all the money or some shit, the power. I don't know if that's what you're into. Most people, it's money, I think, with this economic crisis looming again. Everybody seems to be skint for a bit. I'm still doing my poverty thing myself. I'm enjoying it, actually. Which is kind of weird in a self-masochistic kind of way. It's like I forced myself into poverty behaviors and, day-to-day events so I could understand why my parents went through so much as they were younger and us as kids as well. I don't know if you've listened to the podcast. It should be New Year's resolutions if you do follow my podcasts. I wanted to understand what people were going through and what they had to put up with on a day-to-day basis. So even though I got a teacher's wage, I put myself through poverty. I didn't quit my job. I'm not nuts, and I am very grateful for the wage I get. But instead of, just spending frivolously and not really giving a shit, I started really, hoeing down into the sort of Spartan mentality and lifestyle. At the moment, I'm finding it very fulfilling, which is really weird. Because it's taking all the understandings and things and the skill sets I've developed as a kid subconsciously and as a young adult subconsciously, and things I've watched my parents do and people around me do, because I lived in a poverty-stricken area. It was pretty cool. How often do you get to have conversations with drunks on bus stops and meth heads, Not fun. Anyway, but, you take all these skill sets that you've developed in these horrible, harsh times and you just take for granted because that's the way things are. The way things are, and you don't see the end of the tunnel. You don't think things will change, and they do. You can definitely better your life. You can definitely get out of that poverty cycle and get a decent job, get yourself to a better quality of life. It just takes effort and education and self-sacrifice and stuff like that, which I'm finding currently now is a lot of self-sacrifice going on, which is very interesting. And I'm not doing it with the sort of victim mentality, actually. I'm doing it because, I want to understand what's going on. And I know that these people are going through this stuff, so I will do it too. I'm not looking for updates or any kind of approval. I just want to understand for my own sake what the fuck is going on. It's really interesting, but I like the strategy behind it. I like finding ways to make things work. I've always been like a Mr. Bean fan. So he's got that engineer mind and he always finds a way to fix things, and mixed with like the MacGyver shit I grew up with. Because my parents were big on like, we don't throw shit away, we fix it, we adapt it, we find another way to do it. Particularly my mum. My dad was a bit useless. But, we find means and ways, right? That comes with the poverty cycle. We find a way to make it work. But I'm finding as an adult, it's interesting, and I'm Googling a lot of shit on Facebook as well, stuff like that. So where am I going with this? I don't even know. But it's really interesting. But most of us, given that recession kind of mindset and the poverty lack mindset, are looking for some way to get more money. And if it comes with fame and what traditionally is deemed glory, back in the war days, now it's just fucking likes on your podcast or some shit. I don't find that as glorious, I'm famous, yeah, but what did you actually do to get there? I mean, you had people like Caligula do some fucked up shit to get famous. It doesn't mean it was a good thing. I still don't like the cult of celebrity. I don't like it because it just comes as, it's fake. I don't like fake. I like to know what I'm working with. That's why I like real. That's why I don't like people that, fake nice to your face. I hate that shit. It's like, if you don't like me, okay, then I'll avoid you, or I'll try to fix the situation or something like that. Don't fake nice to me. I hate that shit. I need to know what the situation is so I can act appropriately. That could be my ASD, I don't know. But if you get famous, there is a real danger that someone could, get pissed off enough with you to come after you, sort of thing, to try and either rob your house, because they do advertise all their shit online, sort of to rub it in our faces, or maybe to give you something to work towards. I don't know. That's the more optimistic view of it. Is like someone saying, this is how I live because I worked hard. I would love to view it as that, and not just a case of, I'm rich and fuck you, this is what I've got. That's the more negative view. That's the more negative view of it, right? I would like to believe that they worked hard for it, but most of it's inherited wealth, or they got it through ways and means which are unethical, I find, such as the Kardashians with their sex tapes and shit. I find that unethical. I don't like that view of things. That's immoral to me. But some people are fine with that. It's like, oh yeah, well, she got it fair and square. She gave up her body. And I'm like, no, no. That's not how we do it. That's just reducing you to body parts. That's not actually, recognizing any part of your soul or value or morality. It's nothing. Anyone can flash their snatch and get money. It's called prostitution. It's like, come on. You gotta at least put some fucking mind into it. It just seems very base to me. But that's how they got money, and some people are fine with it. I'm not fine with it that way. I was always raised to believe, as a woman particularly, you don't just sleep around to get what you want. You go out and use your fucking brain, you develop your skills, and you go and get that for yourself. You don't rely on anyone else, because there's no guarantee it'll be there. So that's where my hyper-independence comes from. That and a history of not having anyone to rely on. But I think that's most people at this age, isn't it? 37, nearly 40. You gotta figure it out for yourself. No one's coming to wipe your ass. There's no nappies big enough. Or is there? I don't know. Or is that what you gotta wait for when you get into your 60s, 70s? Yay, adult nappies. Things to look forward to. But, you work your ass off. You build your empire, you do it yourself, and that you can say, yeah, I did that. That's me in that. I made that. And if you fuck it up, you take accountability. I mean, how many times has, Trump fucked up his life, gone bankrupt? I think he's gone bankrupt 3 times. He just doesn't give a fuck. He just keeps going. I don't think he's actually taken accountability for his actions, or how many people he screwed over in the process of that. To me, that sounds like a narcissist. It's like, I don't give a fuck what I do. I'm going to keep going. I don't give a fuck how many people I screw over. I don't like that celebrity lifestyle. I really don't. I have a deep set worry that if I ever started a business that actually had employees or something like that, I'd accidentally fuck them over. I worry about that. But you should. That's called being ethical as a business owner. You worry about your workers. I have a deep-seated hatred of people who fuck with people's pay. I hate them. As soon as, even my pay, because I'm a relief teacher, I'm put on casual pay, so I go by school basis. The school pays me, not they pay through the department, but the school has to sort of initiate the process. If I get a day late, it fucks up my cycle and my debits and everything, and I get fucking irate. I really do. Because I know firsthand, you don't fuck with your people's pay. You just don't. Because you don't know what they got going on in the background. They might be holding out for that money. So I'm coming from that poverty level where no one's got any money and we're all trying to make ends meet, and you don't fuck with it. Celebrities, on the other hand, are like, fuck it, I don't give a shit. I got bags to spare. So you're creating a problem, really. It's a shitstorm, really. I mean, you've got a bunch of people that got nothing. They already don't like you because you're shoving it in their face, so they'll come and rob you. And that's what happened to the Kardashians, basically. How many times have they had their house robbed? Didn't at one point the main fucking Kardashian, whichever one that is, didn't she get like tied up or some shit? See, I can't tell now. Did she actually, or was that a PR stunt? Was that part of the show? I don't know. That's the problem. It's the boy who cried wolf. It's like, do we feel sorry for you? Is this just what you're doing for more updates? I don't know. That's the problem with celebrity as well. It's like you want, or they want, I don't, they want the attention. And they do say good or bad attention is attention, right? Or PR, or whatever it is. It's still PR. What about getting abducted? Does that count? I was like, it's still bad PR, but hey, we got attention. It's like, not the kind of attention you want, dickhead. Yeah, and they robbed you. Oh, but it's insured. It's like, I don't care. They got free shit. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not going to say it. I was going to say, maybe we should encourage them to get robbed. I don't know. Because it is insured. It's a win-win situation, right? It's like when somebody can't pay off their car, and I've mentioned this before, they can't pay off their car, so they get one of their buddies to nick it and torch it, and then it's an insurance job, right? The things you learn in poverty areas. But maybe, yeah. I mean, considering it's insured, they get their money from the insurance people. The people who rob them can fence it somehow, although I don't know, it's a bit high value stuff to fence, really, isn't it? Like diamond necklaces and shit. It's like, well, you kind of need certificates and everything for that. So, you know, it looks like you haven't nicked something. I don't know, maybe I'm just suggesting some kind of weird jewel thief hijinks thing. Am I giving you ideas? I shouldn't. I'll shut up now. I shouldn't give you ideas. I'm thinking cat burglary. No cats were harmed. But no, it's stupid to stand up and say, this is what I've got, I'm going to shove it in your face. It's not because they've worked hard. I mean, sometimes they work hard if they're doing damn near everything, but a lot of it is, you know, wages where they're way out of proportion to what they actually do. I mean, if you're working a 12-hour day as some kind of music person, as opposed to a nurse who's working a 12-hour day. Now, I've got a gay friend called Chrissy, and he's lovely. He is a nurse. He puts his ass to the grind, and he does it every fucking day, and he hates it, but he does it because he knows is what he's good for. He does 12-hour shifts. I don't know how the fuck he does it. I don't, because I would die. I get after, like, I do 8-hour days, and I'm fucking tired. And he's in A&E, or ER, or whatever you call it, the emergency bit. Intensive care as well, he does that. I don't know how the fuck he does it. I don't. He's on his feet all the fucking time and dealing with shit in a constant 12-hour stint. I'm like, how the fuck are you doing that? But he's pretty tough. He's lovely, but he's tough. He's gorgeous. Anyway. But it's disproportionate. I mean, the wage compared to a nurse doing the same amount of work is ridiculous. It's not the same. These celebrities get millions for shit they did fuck all for, really, comparatively. Doesn't make sense. When you shove it in someone's face, you're going to get robbed, or someone's at least going to punch you in the face. Like, don't be an asshole. This is why we have that culture of not wanting to talk about money, because we don't want to hurt someone's feelings, or at least that's the way I was raised. It's like when I was growing up, no one had any money, so we just didn't talk about it. Anything like asking what your dad does for a living and shit like that, or your mom, you quickly got hushed. It's like, just shh, no, we're not talking about that now. Or, you know, which was a bit annoying because kids would come to school with like these really cool toys and shit like that, and you'd be looking at your broken down hand-me-downs and you'd be going, oh, for fuck's sake. I got fuck all. But having said that, I will turn that on its head because, you know, I don't know if you listen to the other podcast, but I absolutely hero worship my older brother, and I got all his hand-me-downs, so I was pretty stoked. They were like broken and ripped and shit. And I was wearing his clothes and stuff like that well up into my teens. Because he was my guy, he's my brother. I love my brother. My sisters I do and I don't get along with, but this was my guy. He was my celebrity. I wanted to be, you know, just like him. And his name's Joe, and I used to be called Joe Jr. My parents used to laugh their ass off because I'd be, you know, hanging under the table while he's playing his Warhammer and shit like that. I'd be trying to hang out with his mates, even though there's like a 6-year age difference, and they just saw me as like the team mascot. You know, it's hilarious. But he was my hero, man. I didn't have the celebrities to look up to. I didn't want to be rich or famous. I just want to hang out with this one guy because he was awesome. That could be ASD. We do tend to pick one person and put them on pedestals. But, you know, You stick your head above the trenches, you're asking for trouble. I think we should be looking at people to be famous more for moral situations, rather than, oh, they got the most money, or, you know, they flash their tits the most, or, you know, they got a giant ass. Giant equals value, therefore famous. It's like getting out value for money with the size of this ass. What is this poverty mindset where you are valuing big against quality? Explains most of America right now, actually, because they've got a lot of obesity crisis shit going on. So I just can't be. Oh, Texas. Texas does my head in. Bigger is better in Texas. I'm sitting there going, not if you're diabetic, not if you value your limbs or organs, which I find interesting because they don't tend to. I don't know, if they develop cancer, maybe they found a way to shoot it. I don't know. Weird Americans. Weird. So there's value to being anonymous. Wait, am I switching them around? Anonymity is where you got no fame. It's Friday, my brain's fried. I've had about 8 cups of coffee. And I think I've got the flu coming, so my brain's just gone. I value anonymity because I'm an introvert. Almost said incel then. I am not an incel. I'm an introvert. I can get the boys whenever I want, god damn it. All the girls. I'm an introvert. I value my alone time. I do. I'm very, very happy to share my time with someone. It's usually with one other person. I don't want fame. I don't want attention. I've spent a large chunk of my life just trying to get the fuck away from people. So when it comes to the idea of standing on a stage and directing traffic, I just like, I don't like it. I do it in the classroom because I'm a teacher and I have to. That's my job. I can lead an army of kids to do whatever the fuck I want. I'm a Pied Piper if I want to, but I don't enjoy the idea of standing up and having pictures. I hate having pictures taken of myself. I don't know how people can do selfies. It bugs the fuck out of me. You know, you sit there and you feel ugly anyway, right? Because the picture never matches what you feel like when you're looking in the mirror. You know, I do my makeup in the morning and it's like, oh, okay, so this is livable. And then as soon as you get to the car, you look in your rear view mirror, you're like, oh, for fuck's sake. Why? Why do you torture me? I knew I drew that line on there for a reason and now it's gone and now it's melted. And fuck. Why don't I even bother? Good thing I don't buy the expensive makeup. But then you got people who are actively going out of their way to get on camera, and I just don't understand. I think it's part of narcissism or something. If you're doing it for a job, like if you have to be a model, well, these people I don't understand either. Because you can just put the fucking clothes on mannequins to the same effect. But they're trying to humanize the clothes, so people say, oh, I want to look like that and I want to live like that, and it's never going to match up because your lifestyle as a, you know, part of the masses never matches up with these models that live on cocaine and jet set everywhere. So I don't know why they bother putting models in clothes that everyday people are meant to wear. It doesn't make sense. I've never had cocaine. I don't think I ever want to. It doesn't interest me. I would like a bit of carrot cake every now and again though, but you know, I've got to resist the diabetes. First world problems. But you know, it doesn't match up. And there's value to not sticking out as well. I mean, I do have that sort of individualist mindset. I do think everybody's got something to contribute as an individual person. I don't do collectivism because it's too nullifying. Nobody's values, like we work as a collective, is like only what you can contribute to the swarm, you know? I don't value that. But then again, I've lived in a Western society, so I don't really have the benchmark on Eastern philosophy that way. Everything I've learned, I've sort of, although I do live in Australia, which is part of Asian, you know, there's a strong Asian influence as well. And American influence. It's weird. We're a weird melting pot. But I haven't had that collective mindset. I wasn't raised with it. Our culture, Western culture, tells about how the individual is sort of pushed forward and you need to fight for what you want. But it also leans towards that me-centric mindset, which I also hate. So you're going to find that weird mid-ground. Be fucking awesome, but also be humble. Damn it, Keanu, you're making it impossible for all of us. How do you do this? But yeah, that's the way of it, I think. Would I want to be famous? I mean, how many billionaires are out there that people just don't know about? Because they don't sit there and publish how much they've got or what they're doing. Or millionaires even. You I'm looking at a lot of people, like where I live, there's some massive houses. I don't know if they're millionaires or not, but they're fucking big houses, like the size of apartment blocks. But then you got me in like a shoebox instead of apartments. I like the area. I like that they've got the contrast there. You got like the millionaires on one side of the street, and then me in a shoebox on the other side. It's quite funny to look at. Because I'll go down to the Woolworths with my I'll go hunt for my $1.90 loaf of bread. These Woolworths essentials. It's amazing. It tastes yum. And I'm not buying like $6, $7 loaves. But then you got those guys who just go to the shops, or they pay someone to go to the shops for them, and they just don't give a fuck. They don't even think about how much that's going to cost, or how long it's going to last, or how can they store it so it doesn't, go off. They just don't care. They just think, if it goes off, I'll just buy another one. I mean, at what point does that become a danger, where they become so disconnected from money that what else do they disconnect from? It's like rich and famous people. It's like getting away with murder because they've never been called on it, because they're deified as celebrities, because they've got all this attention on them, even though it's not real attention. It's a falsified attention because it's based on the image or PR that they put out. So people who are saying these people are famous are only basing their fame, I was going to say femininity, but it's not a word, their fame on the product they're selling. It's like, that's not the actual person. The actual person's probably doing some weird shit. I mean, look at Prince Andrew. He was meant to be this, I hold the royal family to a higher moral accountability, but these days I'm looking at these fuckers and I'm going, I don't like this. But it used to be traditionally that these people were famous, not only because they were rich, but also because they were meant to have the moral high ground. They were meant to be representatives of the church. Don't get me started on that at this point. Considering they're supporting what is supposed to be a new king who has no morals, it seems. But that's an ongoing crisis in my mind. But they were meant to be held to the moral high ground. You're meant to do the right thing because people are looking up to you. They depend on you for guidance and things like that. I mean, the Queen was fantastic at it, as far as we know. But then again, that could have just been an image that she was sending out. We don't know what she was like in real life because nobody ever really got to know her. Even Philip had a very biased account of what she was. She kept a diary. They're never going to be published, so we don't know what she was thinking. We don't know what she was believing. She could have been an absolute fucking maniac. We don't know. But because she had a very well-crafted PR crew and an image, it comes across that she was, damn near a saint. But, that's the problem with fame, is like you never actually get the real person. You get a version of the person, which may be related to, what values they have. But until you actually, go and live with them, get to know them, you're not going to know for sure. Anonymity, you can do whatever the fuck you like as long as you don't get caught, really, don't you? If you leave evidence, you're going to get in trouble. We all know that. I wouldn't want to stand on the stage. I don't know. It would have to be a significant cause for me to want to stand on a stage, because that means, first of all, I'm fighting my own inner demons of just not wanting to be seen, basically. I don't like being seen. I like hiding away in my hermit mode. And then you've got to interact with people, so that's another thing. I'm not good at interacting with people. I scream internally a lot. And then I've got to deal with my selective mutism, which then turns into a stutter when I'm overthinking. And I can't get the words out, which you've heard earlier in this podcast. That's my stutter. Occasionally I fuck up my words as well because I'm trying to get it out and I can't. That's part of the selective mutism. You are pushing words out to try and make them be heard. And then you've got to deal with the content, and it's like, for fuck's sake, what am I trying to say? I was like, I don't even know anymore. I'm just battling to be here. It's fuck. And then there's the cringy afterwards where everybody says, "Oh, aren't you wonderful for standing up for this shit?" And you're like, fuck, leave me alone. Can I take a picture? Fuck no, leave me alone. Is anyone else just screaming on the inside? Like even school pictures, when we all have to line up as a class. And these fuckers are like, everybody smile now. And you're like, I hate this, man. I hate this so much. And then you got the individual portraits where they're like, turn your head. I hate pictures. I hate pictures. Oh, do I hate them. Oh my God. It's like you never really represent, it's never accurate. It's never. These days, you know what you should do is just say, fuck it, come up with like fucked up hair and shit like that. And just, you know, looking like you've fallen out of a haystack, because inevitably you're going to look like that anyway, in the picture. So you might as well just go with it. It's like, I'm not bothering with anything. You take me as I am, god damn it. I brushed my hair, I don't know why I bother. The makeup stays for all of 3 seconds. But no, it's crazy. I don't know if anyone else has got that cringe factor when it comes to pictures. Some people just take these pictures and they look amazing. I'm like, fuck you. You're cheating. I don't know how, but you're doing it. Or maybe they're just so settled in how they look that they just don't care if they look good or bad, and they just get on with it. I'm looking at Henry Cavill right now. Well, I'm not. I'm looking at some kind of Navara. But fucking trucks. Because I'm in traffic. And he's not here. But he's very pretty as a person. Generically looking, you know. Probably that's why he's got so many, you know, people chasing after him. It's like, oh, he's so attractive. It's like, he's got the same gene pool as me. I'm looking at him going, well, he looks average to me. Is that arrogant? I don't know. He does. He comes from the same gene pool as me. He's got like sort of English, I would say some kind of French in there given. Some kind. I don't know. He's from Jersey, which is mainly French kind of speaking. There's a French element there. But it's very similar gene pool to where I come from. I've got Irish in me, so I've got the similar kind of eyes and things like that. So I'm looking at this guy going, oh, he looks normal. To me, he looks normal. I mean, I don't know if I've got no real gauge, but then I look at other people, like everyone says like Brad Pitt's attractive. I'm going, I don't see it. But then again, I came geographically from a different area and a different geographic gene pool, so I don't find that attractive myself. Although I do like anomalies as well. So like Keanu Reeves has got that half Hawaiian kind of look, half English. His mum is a Cockney like mine, people. So he's got that Irish kind of English-Irish background mixed with the Asian. I don't know what his dad was. I know he was Hawaiian. So that kind of anomaly I do find attractive because it's a nice splice there. But there's a lot of, you know, like people are deemed attractive and that's how they get famous and we should all worship them because they're attractive. I'm going, I don't know, man. I've been watching Henry Cavill's interviews and I'm going, a lot of his interviews he comes across as arrogant. And I'm sitting there going, I don't find that attractive at all. I don't give a fuck what you look like. If you're coming off as smug and, I don't like it, man. Can you imagine living with that? Some arsehole. Like, you want a cup of tea? Well, actually. It's like, fuck off, Hank. Are you drinking the tea or not? And he's got like 4 brothers, so I'm like, I think I would want to hang out with your brothers and see what you're really like. Are you really like this? Or are you a little shit? And you just won't admit it. But yeah, I don't know. Again, this is an image he's presenting. I have a strong feeling he's got a lot of insecurities, particularly about his weight. Something about him strikes me that he's worried about his weight. And maybe fat content. Having been married to a PT, that was always about, you know, I've got to look a certain way. And I know he has the pressure of having to look a certain way. And he's also got that sort of, I swear he wants to be James Bond. So he's got that persona where he wants to be like a gentleman figure. And he went to a private school and shit like that. So he's taken on that weight where he has to look and act a certain way. So he has to, you know, I would drink whiskey and smoke cigars and shit. I'm going, first of all, both are unhealthy and stupid. So I don't know why you think that's an attractive thing. But I'm not trying to be overly critical. I'm just saying, you know, these are things that are unhealthy. Why are you supporting them? Why are you promoting them? I don't know. Because it's part of his image. He wants to be James Bond. He wants shaken, not stirred, or whatever. Not that it's attractive to me. I find drinking stupid, to be honest. I've done enough dumb things. At least I'm not doing that. But it's famous. And so he's taken on this shopping list of cliches as his persona, which hopefully will bring him more work. And bearing in mind he's a tourist, so he's money-minded. It might work. He has money, So, and I know he's bragging about buying some kind of expensive car. I was listening to an interview, I'm going, oh great, you've got a car, I've got a car too. Mine's white, what's yours? And I'm sitting there trying to figure out what his favourite colour is, and we're going, oh, if you got a white car, maybe you like white. I don't know. I don't give a fuck what type it is. I don't. Because I wasn't raised to be materialistic. Apparently he was, so I don't know. When it comes to money, my family more was concerned with getting food on the table than buying a fucking Lamborghini. So, you know, different priorities create different people. Although there is a particular part of the poverty mindset where you don't feel like you're succeeding unless you have some ridiculous, you know, fancy car and you live in a particular area and you're wearing a shitload of bling and stuff like that. I mean, I wear a fair whack of silver jewellery, but that's because of my cultural heritage. That's coming from gypsy/Irish. I mean, I'm decked out like Mr. T at this point, but I do it because it's part of my culture. It's not like I've got this and you can't get it yourself. I mean, if I really wanted to do that, I'd go full platinum. I mean, fuck it. If we're going up, we're going up. But I like silver. It is good. I don't like gold, which is more valuable. I just prefer silver. My grandma was gypsy, so she was always covered in gold. Big crosses and things, crucifixes. But I like silver, so I went up. So, but it looks like, and I know it annoys some of the younger kids that were in the social group I used to hang around with when I had my ex-boyfriend, because it looks like I'm trying to shove it in their face, but I'm not. This is my culture. This is what we do. We wear shitloads of jewelry, and sometimes we have, you know, a fair whack of makeup on, and we grow our hair out long. I mean, I've gone to the point where I'm sitting there, you know, wearing the scanty clothes and things that they currently do. Have you ever seen traveler documentaries? They wear some scanty clothes, and I'm sitting there going, my mom would kill me if I wore that. It's like, that's not how I was raised. My grandma's grandma had this big caravan, so she was that type of traveler. What they called gypsies before PC was invented. I prefer gypsy. I don't understand traveler. Traveler sounds like you're living in a fucking caravan. It sounds like you're perpetually camping. We bought this new traveler. What does he do? He makes horseshoes and sells you pins. What the fuck is going on? But I don't know. It's a cultural thing. You get a lot of stick for it. My ex-boyfriend was Irish, but he was like Dublin Irish. He was never a traveller. We're from Galway Irish over on the west coast, where it's all rocks and shit. Because they're more, I would say, modern. If you go over west, they still speak Gaelic fluently. You go east coast Dublin, it's like all English but with an accent and a lilt. My grandma would have spoken Gaelic. Her mum would have spoken Gaelic. My mum would have spoken Gaelic if she hadn't, you know, skipped country. So I moved to the East End, London. So yeah. Anyway, where am I going with this? I don't know. Materialism being a problem for fame. People are hunting after money and fame, and it creates a problem because it just creates security issues, as far as I've seen. Having lived in poverty, I know the mindset that a lot of people have in poverty when they're about to create a criminal act, such as robbing your house or stealing your car. They will actually look for people who are affluent, obviously. They will sit there and they'll measure when you're at home or when you're not at home. They want to know what you're doing. They'll do a walk by or a drive by, and they'll check out what's going on. They'll note down. They leave marks on outside the car, outside the house. They'll leave specific marks to let others know what kind of a person lives there in that house and what they do. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head what the marks are, because I never really got into it's like learning sign language. You need to be in the job to understand the job, you know. But I know they used to leave marks, because I had marks left outside my house at one point, and I'm like, fuck that, scrub it off. You don't give away your position, obviously. But, you know, it's irritating shit like that. But you get to know the area you live in. You get to know what the hazards are like that. And while you want to stay down low as much as possible, anyone who's got money is usually a target. So if you want to stick your head above the trenches, definitely go out and buy some kind of loud, fancy car, because you're signaling where you are and where they're going to get hit next. So it's a bit stupid, really, to announce yourself like that. Unless you're part of the bikie gangs around here, because there are bikie gangs around here. At the moment we've got, I think it's Comancheros, no. What is it? Is it Mongols or is that over east? I'm trying to remember. There are about 2 or 3 of them over here. So if you've got wealth and you're part of that group, not that I ever was, but I do teach their kids, you might have some protection for that wealth. But generally, you go out because you've gone out and worked and you've paid for your own shit, you're going to get screwed over if you decide to stick your head above the trenches and show off. It's not like we've got security systems out here, really. I mean, we've got cameras, but that's not going to stop someone coming in if they want it bad enough. So you don't take on that level of, if you're going to be smart, you don't take on that level of arrogance and conceit where you start showing off your shit. Anonymity in that case is not only the value of humility, it's also, safety. You have to keep your head down. Unless you've got enough to move to a different area. I mean, most people, at this point, if you're middle class at this point in our area, which is a very low middle class, if you're middle class, people are working to get out. I mean, the best thing you could do when I was growing up in high school was to, join the Navy, because there's a naval area. All the guys joined the Navy, or they went up the mines, and they became FIFO workers. Ooh, galah. Ooh, I nearly hit a galah. Little shits. They dive bomb you, those birds. They're horrible. But if you had any brain in your head, you got the fuck out. I mean, there are other kids who went around just selling drugs and shit. Or you went into some really low skill, boring job, like working in Kmart, something like that, which is not bad. It's honest, but it's not great pay, and you get treated like shit. I used to work in McDonald's. I can vouch for that. Hello, person. But that's the thing. It's like you want to get out of the poverty area, and you spend a large chunk of your 20s, if you got any brain on you, to get the fuck out of that area. You don't try and get famous that way. I mean, we did have some actors come out of our area where I grew up. If you ever watched Avatar, that Sam Smith guy came out of my... Sam Worthington. I'm thinking of a different guy. He came out of my area. He went to my primary school. It was really weird because then the teachers, who are still fucking there, by the way, Sam. Yes, they're still fucking there. It's been 20 years. Then they spend the next how many progressions of kids running through their classrooms telling them, oh, did you know so-and-so came through this school? It's like, who fucking cares? Is he going to give us some money? No? Then shut up. No one cares. But, and he probably doesn't give a fuck either. He's like, I've done that bit. I don't want to go back to it. And anyone who's lived in the area goes, yeah, we know. Neither do we. We don't want to be here either. But you don't stick your head above the trenches, start rubbing it in. The teachers, for some reason, when I went back to work in the same school I used to be at, the primary school, they shoved that shit in your face, like, oh, so-and-so came back and they did this, and oh, so-and-so did this. The fact that I have several degrees blew their fucking mind. I was sitting there going, what investment do you have in your own skills that you don't believe that I could go to uni? It's kind of worrying. Because they're like, oh, this is so-and-so, and she's come back and she's got all these degrees and shit like that. I'm going, yeah, because you said I should, right? It's like, yeah, we just didn't think you could. It's like, you fuckers. Oh my gosh, it's hilarious. But it's that type of area. I mean, you put the hope in the situation. You hope that these people can develop themselves. But if they don't, that's probably fucking normal too. It's down to the individual. I mean, you can only lead a horse to water so many times before you got to drink it yourself, or you got to die and make your mind up. I mean, a lot of people in the area just choose to die, which is horrible. But no, I think I'd rather be anonymous. I've seen what horrible things come with fame. I have no real interest in getting famous, unless it's for an amazing cause. And it would have to be something significant to override all my insecurities about being physically outside my house. I don't feel the need to be on camera. I don't like the idea of it. Where am I going? I think I've lost the school I'm supposed to be going to. Yay! Am I late? I don't know. I'm teaching pre-primaries today. Where were you? You're now late. I don't know. Timmy's already started eating the glue. Oh well, he's not going to be hungry for crunch and sip. What's the problem? I'm going to have to use my Google phone. Alright, I'm going to have to leave it there, guys, because I am actually genuinely lost. So, I'm hoping you guys have a fantastic day. I hope you really do. If you ever get famous, use it wisely. I don't think you should waste your... Is it that one? Ooh, that looks like a school. I don't think you should waste whatever you get given. It's never a good thing. I don't think you should rub it in other people's faces. And I think that mindset where we, talk about being famous and having money in a hushed tone is actually quite valuable. It's strange how little people actually want to do that today because there's always that ego. But I'm going to leave it there because I am genuinely lost. I'm hoping you have a fantastic day. I'll do another podcast on the way home and I'll chat to you later.
When you hear music, what you really hear when you hear melody is the interval between one tone and another. Steps, as it were, on the scale. It's the interval. So in the same way, in the intervals between this year's leaves, last year's leaves, this